Men aren't seen as having problems, but as being the problem. Suicide rates among men under 30 have risen by 40% since 2010 and are 4 times higher than among young women. Male suicide accounts for as many deaths as breast cancer. Men are less likely than women to go to college or buy a home. That was interesting to me, buying a home. They are more likely to be lonely and are more vulnerable to addiction. Young white men from lower income homes are worse off than their fathers on almost every economic and social indicator. There's a bigger gender gap on campuses today than in 1972. This is very interesting. When the government passed Title IX to prevent sex-based discrimination in education, but today the disparities in college enrollment and performance are the other way around. There's no strong evidence that young men are turning against gender equality, but they have turned away from the left because the left has turned away from them. The problems of young men are not the confections of reactionaries. This is a story of elite neglect, not voter chauvinism. The Democrats have failed to address these issues. Under the Biden administration, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has refused to acknowledge the gender disparity in suicide rates. The White House Gender Policy Council has not tackled a single issue facing primarily boys and men. There have been initiatives to promote women in STEM and construction, but nothing about encouraging men into teaching or mental health, which are fields predominantly filled with women. Right? Go ahead, Adam.
It's quite the opposite. In fact, they are promoting essentially like a mental illness in men, where they're emasculating men and saying this is what men should be. And it's like you look at what they're pointing at, and it's the first female 5-star general it's just a dude in a dress. It's a
dude with a wig. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's not a woman. That's a dude. Like, what do you mean? This is who we're supposed to listen to health advice from? Like, no. Right. What?
It's crazy, man.
It's the opposite of what's being said. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out.
There are women's health research initiatives, but no office on men's health. The Democrats and progressive institutions have a massive blind spot when it comes to male issues, and this was exposed in the election. At worst, men are seen not as having problems, but as being the problem, and that is by a guy called Richard Reeves. I thought it was a really interesting read. What do you guys think?
He nailed everything, especially with the gender gap in college. Like you see, and we've seen it long before our generation when we were in high school. Like you just see the certain amount of favoritism even in high school. Like, dude, there's stories. I've seen stories sitting next to girls in high school who turn in their homework late or miss an assignment and are given opportunities to make it up. But then when a dude asks or missed something, or he had a game or just something happened and couldn't turn in an assignment, like, no, you're done. You don't get an extra chance. And that's from high school, that's from middle school, and that goes into college. And then you wonder why women at an exponential rate are getting scholarships to these universities.
Yep. Yeah, this thing, men are less likely than women to go to college, that I knew, or buy a home. That was crazy to me.
So I think there's an explanation for that, but let me throw off the first thing I was going to say really quick is that men don't want preferential treatment. We're not asking for preferential treatment. There's never been a movement for preferential treatment. We know exactly what our role is, and we're all happy to do it. More than happy to do it.
Keyword there, men. Just want to say that.
Yeah, we know our place. We understand. We know what we are. We know when the time comes, you got to call, you got to go, you got to fight, you got to die. If not, then you need to bear the burden of protecting your family and raising your family and being the breadwinner, as they call it. We're fine with all that. Totally happy with it. The problem is when you introduce the fourth wave feminists, all this ideology, that all of those things that we've come to accept and we're happy to bear as a burden are now the reasons why we're problematic. That's what pisses me off more than anything. Like, trust me, it's not all strippers and burritos being a guy. And there's this whole idea that like being a dude is the most fucking awesome thing. And chicks are like, I want to be a dude. They have it so fucking easy. And it's the grass is greener ideology. And because of this gigantic feminist movement where everybody's like, yeah, the grass is greener, we should be dudes. The entire country has now got a mental illness, and it's
celebrated too.
And that's the worst part, is that it's celebrated.
It's the West, man. It's
I think about
not even your country.
I think about somebody who has like bulimia or anorexia, and they look in the mirror and they see themselves as fat, and they're puking and killing themselves and starving themselves.
And you go like, yay, you're so brave.
It's the equivalent of being like, yeah, good for you. Like, no, you're having surgeries that are physically
help.
Deforming your body, harming you massively, irreversible changes. It's insane. This whole thing is insane to me. It's insane to me.
There was that woman who said life was really hard as a woman, so she's going to become a guy. And
how'd that wind up?
Right.
Well, and she documented it, and then broke down and said no one gave a shit about me anymore. And suddenly, like, she realized that, like, right. But I don't remember what happened. Like, I feel like maybe she actually committed suicide.
She self-deleted. Yeah,
she did. She deleted.
She did. Yeah, it was like, it's so sad. But she realized, like, holy crap, men don't have it easier. No one gives a fuck about men.
Yeah.
And wow, okay.
Having to constantly prove your worth is just something that we're like used to. I think it's a bit of a shock. It's just a different, and it sounds almost like egotistical or something when you say it, but when you're actually put into that culture,
survival of the fittest. Yeah, that's what nature is. That the men are always competing to be the alpha, to be the one that is looked up to and is the one who's controlling their environment. I mean,
and that battle changes.
Every single mammal.
Yeah.
Look, in any mammal, watch the one person who's like, technically, and there's one exception. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
it's still true with humans.
That last slide was really great. Really, the election screamed that the Democrats are so out of touch,
right,
with men and just humanity in general. Because
I think that was it, humanity in general.
Yeah, because healthy-minded and healthy-bodied men are a pillar of society. So.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely, man.
All around.
That was an interesting read that I saw this morning, and I wanted to.
You could theoretically, I mean, you could distill it down to like everything that's happened, all the crazy shit that's been going on, was not a fundamental misunderstanding of women. It was a fundamental misunderstanding of men.
Oh yeah,
that's what it really came down to.